This, my friends, right here is the Sigma 100 to 400, and it's already getting all wet and whatnot, but doesn't matter because it has weather sealing, right? I need to check. Guys, I don't want this to be a typical lens review video where I'm just gonna go through all the focus motors and all the rings and whatnot. What I want to talk about is the practical use of it and who is it really for. How does it perform also on APS-C cameras, because I've tested it also on A6700, on A7IV, and I think this could be potentially one of my absolute favorite telephoto lenses, and I can't think of any other telephoto lens that I would exchange this for. You might be thinking of something else. In 2024, we speak with each other a lot, so let me know. Let's talk and let's see how this lens performs. Remember, I told you to grab that coffee. Now's the time. I know I said I'm not gonna go crazy into all the specs of this lens, but I just want to tell you that the build quality is something you would expect from Sigma. They are built really well, so the rubber focus rings and the zoom rings and everything turns smooth. They are all made in Japan, so that should give you some relief that they're actually made very well. You have a bunch of features on the lens itself, so we have the optical steady stabilization on the lens itself with 2 levels, and you can also shut it off. You have a function button, and you also have a limiter for the focus, which is really nice. You can, focus from 0 to 6 meters or from 6 meters on, or as well as full range, which I actually use quite a lot. And of course you have autofocus, manual focus switch, and a lock on the lens so it doesn't go down or does any wonder. Lens hood, also a plastic, but good plastic. This lens is not weather sealed, and the front element is not that big. It's 67 millimeters. That means you can throw a filter. If you cannot imagine how big this lens is in this video, just imagine that 67 millimeter filter thread this is, and that the lens basically remains that fatness all the way until here. One thing that I must note, when you buy this lens, it doesn't come with this tripod shoe, or what's it called. I had to buy it myself. I bought from, I'll leave a link down in the description. So besides that, the build quality, absolutely love it, easy to use. And here comes the part of the practicality. So the practicality of this lens, I would give it all 10 out of 10, just because I feel like it is just so easy to throw it in the bag. It fits in my pocket. You want to see? You see? Fits in my pocket. But if it's a huge, humongous lens, you're just simply not gonna take it. So first of all, I tested the 150 to 600 millimeter Sigma over all the Sonys and all the others, because I thought, it's a good affordable price for what you get, and you have a big range. If you haven't seen that video, go check it. I was testing it actually on Sony A6000 and 6400, but the 100 and 400 I prefer so much better than 150 to 600. I feel like 150 to 600 was just way too much zoomed in, especially on APS-C, and the lens is humongous. I don't imagine myself bringing it unless I'm like a professional bird photographer. This 100 to 400 is so much more practical. At 100 millimeters you can have, I wouldn't say wide shot, but you can still get a lot in the picture. Obviously, if you're shooting an APS-C, it's gonna be cropped in to about 150 millimeters. So actually this 100 to 400 is like 150 to 600 on a full frame, the focal length, right? Because of the approximately 1.53 crop factor. So basically it is a really versatile lens that you can use and shoot in various scenarios. As you can see in all of these picture examples, I have been using it in just so many different applications, and I love also using it in landscape, because I think it works pretty well to capture the waves in the distance, or birds flying up and in the air in the mountains. You have that really nice compression and works very well. So one more thing to mention about this lens is its optical performance. I know I said I'm not gonna make a typical review, but unless you put it next to something like a G Master, which costs a ton of money, I think you will be very satisfied with the sharpness and performance of it. First of all, let's address the aperture. I personally shoot around f8, 9, 11, around those aperture values, because you know the more is in focus, and obviously the lens is a lot sharper when shooting at those focal lengths. So I have never been worried about the aperture and also about the sharpness, because at those values this lens is really sharp. Also, yeah, of course you have to increase the ISO. We have new cameras, we have new nice sensors and processors, so it is not that big of a deal, I would say. So I feel quite comfortable also increasing ISO. When it comes to autofocus, I think this lens really delivers. Even when used on old Sony A6000, there was absolutely no problem quickly focusing on the subject and keep the focus. And I have not noticed any issues like focus hunting, not being able to find the subject, or those weird refocusing pulses. On newer cameras like Sony A7IV or the A6700, the lens confidently focuses on human or animal eye for that matter, and when snapping the picture you can be sure to have a high hit rate. Same goes with the autofocus in video mode. Even though it's probably mostly a photographer's lens, you can use it for videos and it will get the autofocus just right. And so it's not big, it's not that expensive compared to other lenses, and there are probably alternatives. And so here is where you come in, because I'm very curious. Have you tested something like Tamron's 150 to 500, something like that, or other telephoto lenses on APS-C and full frame? And just please tell me, what do you think about it, because you know I'm very curious to learn and test different lenses. So for me, this is, you know, with all of its flaws, with all of the little things that it maybe doesn't have, which I can't really say what it is, but I just love it. I think it's perfect, at least for me. Let me know your thoughts about this lens and about the competitors. And guys, I hope you have warm tea, because I'm freezing. I'm gonna go get one myself. And you know what, keep on creating, and I see you in the next video.